Hey everyone, Chef Jason Hill here, and I was sifting through some old magazines, Cooks Illustrated in particular, and I came across their secrets to flaky biscuits. And one of my favorite things to eat is biscuits and gravy at breakfast. So we're going to try this recipe and see if it lives up to its claim to fame. Let's get started. We're going to want to evenly measure out 2.5 cups of flour and add this to a bowl. Now we're just going to whisk in a tablespoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of baking soda, and a teaspoon of salt. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable shortening that's been chilled and I've cut up into little 1/2 inch chunks. And using our hand, we're going to get in there and incorporate this into the flour. You can feel the little pieces in there. And they're eventually going to come together in little pea-sized clumps. Okay, now we're going to take a stick of unsalted butter that's been chilled and sliced thinly. We're going to drop it into the flour, coat it, and work it into little nickel-sized pieces and just drop in and do this for each slice. And you want to work fast while doing this so you don't melt the butter. And I just kind of mix it all up. You can see our little butter pieces are in there. That's what you want. Now the recipe recommends putting this back in the freezer for about 15 minutes just to ensure that the butter doesn't soften too much. Okay, our flour mix has been chilled. Now we're going to stir in 1.5 cups of low-fat buttermilk. And you want to leave a little bit behind, maybe about 1/4 cup. Mix it up with a fork. I'm going to add another 1/4 cup. And do this in batches. You just want it to come together to where there's no more dry parts of the flour on the side of the bowl. Okay, as you can see here, the dough is what they call shaggy. It's a little bit sticky. And out of the 1.5 cups of buttermilk, I probably have 2 tablespoons left that I'm not going to use. Okay, to prepare our work surface, the recipe says use some cooking spray. I'm going to try that. And it also says use 1/3 cup of flour or so. Just sprinkle that onto the surface and spread it out with your hands. And you want about a 24-inch by 24-inch covering. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm just going to form it into a ball. Work with the flour so it doesn't get sticky on you. Okay, about a 10-inch by 10-inch square is what you're going to want. Now we'll take our rolling pin. I'm going to roll it to about an 18-inch by 14-inch rectangle. Now after we spread it out, we're going to fold it over. Turn it 90 degrees. Roll it out again. So what we're doing here is creating layers of fat, which is the butter and shortening in there. Roll it over one more time. And we're going to work this until you have about a 1/2 inch thickness of dough. Does that look like a 1/2 inch to you? Depending on the size of biscuit you want, you can go with a 3-inch cutter or a 2-inch. I'm going to go ahead and go with a 3-inch. And we'll probably get 9 biscuits out of this first batch. Okay, you'll just repeat this with the leftover dough that you have. And I'm going to place them on the cookie sheet, ungreased. Now as you gather up your scraps, you can always put it back in the bowl and re-chill it for a few minutes before you start your second batch. All right, before we place these into our 450-degree oven, we're going to brush the tops with some melted butter. I just take my little brush here, put a little bit on each one. Oh God, these already smell good and they haven't even been baked yet. here we go. Into the oven. Probably for about 15 minutes or until they're golden brown and nice and flaky. Okay, after 14 minutes, they are ready. Tops are golden brown. The biscuits have come apart in layers. Nice and flaky. Oh. Yum. Oh man. I don't eat this all the time, but when I do, I'm a happy guy. If you don't want to serve these with country gravy, you can also serve these with jam, some whipped cream, kind of make a little sweet dish out of them. Either way, these biscuits turned out great. Thanks for watching. For more simple and delicious recipes, click on these links. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.